be all mean.
Well, you ain't ready to play with the grown-ups.
I wish you were little.
From the producer of Girls Trip.
You went to bed grown and then you woke up a child again.
Where are my natural teardrop boobs? I paid 15 G's for those things.
To everyone, you are a child, so start acting like one.
Think you're the boss of me?
I'm requesting backup. We have a black mama whooping.
Who's the boss now?
Little.
Remind me of my mama.
In cinemas April 12th.
God, this movie should have been a whole lot better than it actually was. And in fact, we're going to have a couple of movies that... Actually, one more movie that should have been so much better than it actually was. Welcome to Time About the Movies, everybody. It is April 12th, 2019. We got 4 movies to look at here. We're going to start off slow, but trust me, we're going to end with a winner, and a real winner. I mean, this movie, it still pains me that this movie was not a big hit, that we're going to get to at the end of the show, because this is a great movie that we're going to get to at the very end here. But let's start off with the first movie we have here, the biggest of the new releases, which is, of course, Little. See, why not? Because, you know, big, little, this is kind of like Big in a way, very much so, except it's reversed in a number of different ways, but anyway. Regina Hall stars as an overbearing boss who has transformed into the teenage version of herself, played by Marsai Martin from Blackish, who is also an executive producer on the film, and as a 14-year-old, she's actually the youngest person to ever hold that title on a Hollywood production, so suck on that, Olsen twins. Anyway, you got Issa Rae in here from Insecure in her first big movie role after that show's success. And, again, this really should have been so much better than it actually was. It has a lot of people I really like in it. I really like Regina Hall. I like Issa Rae. I think Marsai Martin is a really good actress. A good kid actress, but, yeah, this movie just plays it way too safe. And I mean way too safe. And really... that's where the biggest problem with the movie in general is that A, it plays it way too safe, 2, the laughs really aren't there, and these are the type of movies that can make superstars out of some of the biggest celebrities out there. I mean, like I said, Tom Hanks, Big really propelled him into superstardom when that came out in 1988. 13 Going on 30 with Jennifer Garner made her a big star in the movie world for a little bit. 17 again with Zac Efron. I mean, this movie should be so easy to figure out here. Yeah, it's a plot we've seen done before. It's basically a role reversal of Big, and a complete opposite of Big, where instead of the little kid becoming bigger, it's the big kid becoming little. It should be all good all across the board, but it really is not. And I mean, the actresses are fine in it, but that's the problem. They're just fine. In a movie like this, they should have been really good, and the writing should have been much better. I think if you had a much better director behind this, besides this director, Tina Gordon, whose last movie was Peoples, which was not a very good movie. That was the Tyler Perry produced movie, and then she followed it up with Praise This, which I remember that not being all that great. I mean, not a bad writer. She's written some stuff I've liked. Drumline, ATL, she just wrote What Men Want. So, really, I think just because simply the fact that she probably shouldn't have directed this overall. They probably should have given it to somebody who could make this material work better. Maybe somebody like an Adam Shankman, or even somebody like a Malcolm D. Lee or Tim Story. But this, yeah, it just didn't work overall. And like I said, it's not a bad movie, and the cast overall makes it work. But other than that, though, it's just a movie where it should have been way better than it actually was, considering what it is and what it could do to these stars if it's done very well. And unfortunately, it just isn't there with this one here. A mixed bag of a movie. I would say I like it, but I just kind of like, I don't hate it. I just feel like it should have been so much better than it actually was. A mixed opinion on Little. So, speaking of movies that should have been so much better than they actually were, let's talk about our next movie, David Harbour as Hellboy, which, you know, another movie that uses the trailer card and has fun with it. I mean, just watch. Why don't more movies do that? And then I'm starting to realize, well, maybe there's a good reason, because most of the movies that do this either end up not being all that great or end up being end up being bad movies. You know, Smurfs the Lost Village did that, and also The Good German, and you know how those movies went. But let's take a look at Hellboy.
Came into the world, summoned from the depths of hell as a weapon, turned into a force for good.
We're the line in the sand. We fight against the forces of darkness. If there is ever an end in this forever war, it will be because of your strong right hand.
Sorry! Interrupt!
Hellboy, rated R, equal 12.
Again, so much potential here with this movie here. I think David Harbour would have been an excellent choice for Hellboy, and he looks cool. He does look cool with all that makeup here, and for a movie that cost $50 million to make, he looks impressive. He does look slightly better than the Ron Perlman movie does. However, though, what do we always say here? Visuals don't always make the movie, and boy, this thing needed a massive rewrite ASAP. Among many things as well, but in this movie, David Harbour is Hellboy, who struggles with his psyche while preventing a resurrected sorceress played by Milla Jovovich, which, that should have told you right there that this thing was doomed when you're bringing her into the picture here, from conquering the world, of course. You also have a cast that includes Ian McShane, Sasha Lane, Daniel Day Kim, and Thomas Hayden Church. And the biggest problem I think the movie has in particular is that it tries to go way too far with the tones, the storytelling, the violence. I mean, look, we can accept violence and gore in a movie, but they're pushing it to an extreme here. It's like they wanted to make this so much an R-rated movie that they forgot the important thing of making a good R-rated superhero movie is that is a good story to tell, and there really is not a good story to tell here whatsoever. And there's so much potential that you could do with this in particular, and it just isn't there. And to its credit, like I said, the movie does look great, and David Harbour is excellent as Hellboy. He's the one thing that made me want to keep this movie as a part of my collection. I have this on Blu-ray, but mostly because I saw it at Walmart in the Steelbook, and I have that, but if I want to watch this movie again, it's going to be because of David Harbour, because of how much effort he puts into this movie. I mean, the guy is a charismatic as hell actor, and he's primed for roles like this. That's why I love Violent Night so much. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he does at Violent Night 2. That's why he's great in Thunderbolts and Black Widow. I mean, this guy is a pure action comedy guy, and he shows it in this movie. It's very well done. His performance is great. I wish the rest of the movie, though, was great, and it just isn't. It really fails because it's trying so hard to be an R-rated movie. And, look, we love R-rated movies, but this is going way too far with it, and I think it ruins overall the feel of what this movie could have been like in particular. And sadly, since Guillermo del Toro left, I don't think people really have a good idea of what they want to do with Hellboy anymore, because as bad as this was, the second reboot was even worse, Hellboy the Crooked Man, which looked even more terrible. The effects looked cheaper, and yeah, the film looked just downright terrible on so many levels. Like, it lost everything that made the original Hellboy movie so great. The PG-13 Hellboy movies are so much better than this Hellboy movie than the other Hellboy movies were. I'd rather watch the Guillermo del Toro films easily more than the 2019 movie. Like, David Harbour is a perfect Hellboy, but he needed a much better movie than what he got. And, yeah, it felt like they were pushing way too hard for the R rating, as they put more of the focus on the look of the film, the makeup work, and David Harbour, which are great, but you need everything else to work to make this something that's even better than the original Hellboy movies. And sadly, that is not the case with this film whatsoever. And I do mean sadly, because there is a lot of potential that was wasted on this movie, So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to our next movie. Twilight is over, so is 50 Shades of Grey, so is The Hunger Games. So we need a new young adult franchise out there. So, how about After?
Something's going on, but it's not what you think.
You're making a big mistake. It's gonna break your heart. What are you dreaming about?
I'm dreaming about you getting the fuck away from me, especially with the name you have, Hardin Scott. That is his name in this movie, but in any other movie, that would have been the sign to be like, call the police, but no. In this movie, it's supposed to be charming, it's supposed to be romantic, and no, it's not that whatsoever. It's amazing how Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey have basically ruined the idea of a romantic drama by taking things that should be risque and making it so safe and sanitized, because that's exactly what this movie does. This is based off of a novel of the same name by Anna Tana. It stars Hero Fiennes Tiffin and Josephine Langford, and follows a young woman who begins to romance a mysterious student during her first months of college. You have a cast that also includes Selma Blair, Iana Sarkis, Jennifer Beals, Peter Gallagher is also in here too, which, again, another mistake there. Peter Gallagher, But yeah, the biggest problem with this movie is that it's trying to normalize the idea of abusive relationships. And, you know, just when you think this is a low bar, here, wait until you see what we get with 365 Days, which is a movie that is literally romanticizing abusive relationships and harassment to the point where that's a movie series, by the way, where the main guy in that movie kidnaps a woman and gives her a full year to fall in love with her by holding her hostage. They sold that as charming. Think about that. Like, you think Twilight and you think 50 Shades are the low bars, it can always get lower. And this right here is like the second to worst thing that we've got yet to go to so far. We haven't gotten to 365 Days yet, but trust me, 365 Days is the bottom of the barrel. This is close, but man, this is just a mess, man. I mean, I don't care if the book is popular. I don't care if stupid teens are going to buy into this and are going to forget this movie almost immediately. I don't care if it was a success, and unfortunately we're going to have more of these movies that we're going to cover. This was garbage. Garbage. Plain and simple, avoid it like the plague. So we've not had a great show overall, but trust me, it is worth it to get to this last film. Easily the best movie of the weekend, so of course it's going to be the one that bombs. This is Leica's latest animated feature, and that is Missing Link.
8 feet tall, total weight around 650 pounds.
Well, I would say it's more like, 630 pounds. No, it's the hair that makes me look heavier. Oh, that is going to let in an awful draft.
No! Ooh! Ah!
Bravo. Oh boy, this is bad.
Throw me out of the pit. Oh, hard to know whose fault that was. Let's do it again.
Missing Link, rated PG.
This is a great movie. Another great film from Leica Animation. And like I said, of course it's the one that's going to bomb at the box office, which... you fucking people out there. The charismatic Sir Lionel Frost, played by Hugh Jackman, considers himself to be the world's foremost investigators of myths and monsters. The trouble is, none of the small-minded high society peers seem to recognize this. Surely something that's not going to be something that will be repeated in modern times. Sir Lionel's last chance for acceptance by the adventuring elite rests on traveling to America's Pacific Northwest to prove the existence of a legendary creature, a living remnant of man's primitive ancestry, the Missing Link, or as he calls himself in this movie, Susan, voiced by Zach Galifianakis. And like I said, man, Leica Animation was and still was the best animation studio out there because everything they had put out was great. It was consistently of high quality and all equally as enjoyable. Coraline, Paranorman, Box Trolls wasn't as great, but it's still a really good movie. Kubo and the Two Strings, though, their masterpiece. That's the best thing they've ever done, and one of the best films of the decade. Now, 10 years after their first film comes out, they're back with Missing Link, a movie that, unlike the other 4 films, was not a big hit, mostly because Universal didn't agree to greenlight the film. They stopped. They greenlit the. Well, they had nothing to do with greenlighting the film. They were distributing the film, but because Universal bought DreamWorks, they thought that this Leica Animation is nothing to us anymore. Go on, little Leica Animation. Go on, Travis Knight. Go sell some Nike shoes at another studio. Which they took this over to United Artists. Which, yeah, that's your first sign right there. Revitalized United Artists was not going to really put the money out there to put this movie out to the public overall. And again, all I can really say after seeing this movie is the fact that this movie isn't going to make any money back at the box office, and yet shitty animated films like the Nutjob movies and the Emoji Movie can make over $100 million worldwide. Starting to realize why I hate the public moviegoer, because they really do not know what they want to see, and the people that they completely overlook on this movie have basically just missed out on one of the most enjoyable and entertaining movies of that year, and one of the best animated movies of the 21st century. Let's go with that, because we are in the 21st century. This is a great movie, man. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Kubo and the Two Strings right now. Nothing can ever top that one. But at least right now, we'll see what Wildwood does when that comes out in a couple months. But this is still a great movie, man. This voice cast is incredible. Hugh Jackman giving one of his funniest performances as Lionel Frost. Zach Galifianakis is great as Mr. Link, a.k.a. Susan. It makes sense when you see the movie. Trust me. You get to see Zoe Saldana, Tim Oliphant, and Stephen Fry also having some fun roles in here. Emma Thompson has a lot of great funny lines in this movie. I'll touch on her in just a second. The humor in this is amazing. I was really not expecting to laugh as long or as hard as I did when I saw this, but there are so many funny moments in this. Like, there's a great moment where you have this bar fight happening, and one of the bad guys has a wolf that he orders to attack Mr. Link, and the wolf growls at him, and Link growls right back, and it gets quiet for a few months, and then the wolf starts attacking the bad guy who ordered the attack, and moments like that are all throughout this movie, and it's just as hilarious to watch. The stuff with Emma Thompson's Yeti Elder is hilarious. There's just so many great lines coming out of her in the little bit she's in. She's not in it for a lot, but man, does she make her presence known. My favorite line in the whole movie is, "The people we don't want here are leaving. Make them stay." Like, that line there is something that I still quote to this very day. It is one of the funniest lines I've ever heard in an animated movie. This movie is amazing. The animation is right where you expect it to be from Laika, always looking spectacular and impressive, blending stop motion and computer animation really well, as they usually do. Yeah, the story's a little bit run-of-the-mill, but it's a well-written story that doesn't rely solely on the typical buddy movie cliches to move itself along. You don't get those terrible cliches like the lie revealed or the misunderstanding, or those cliches that would have been so easy to throw into a kid's film like this, but that's what I like about Laika. They do not think that way at all. They are much smarter than you give them credit for. This is on the same level as their other films in general. I mean, Kubo and the Two Strings is going to be hard to top, but again, while what's coming out, we'll see what happens there. But this is still a great movie, man. A really entertaining effort from Laika. Great animation, great storytelling, a great voice cast, great laughs all around. This is another winner for them overall, and you are really doing yourself a gigantic disservice by missing out on this movie, man. Like, if you didn't see it in theaters, find this movie out there, please. It is definitely more than worth it. Trust me on this, I know what I'm talking about. Missing Link not only is another winner for Laika, it's one of the best movies of 2019, easily. Easily. Seek it out if you haven't seen it. Missing Link. So we've talked about a positive movie, which means that we're going to be dealing with a ton of shit next time around. Coming up next time on Time About the Movies, we have a couple of movies that are not very good. We have The Curse of La Lorna, the movie that did not say at all it was a Conjuring spinoff, but when you saw the film, you realize that it's a Conjuring spinoff. So is it going to be as good as something like Annabelle Creation, or is it going to be another Annabelle 1 or The Nun? Yeah, it's Annabelle 1, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a movie that, another one of those movies that you kept seeing the trailer for, and every time you saw it, it just frustrated me, and every time I saw it, it frustrated me because of this kid's stupid actions, and the movie trying to make you think that, no, he's the good guy, he knows what he's doing. No, it's one of those stupid movies where everyone acts like an idiot, but they're going along with it as if they're the good guys here. Breakthrough. I hate this movie so much, and I cannot wait to tear this one a new one tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that one. We also have the latest Disney nature film, and I think actually the last one released before all the documentaries went straight to Disney Plus and also COVID. Penguins. We'll take a look at that. And then we'll take a look at David Robert Mitchell's follow-up to It Follows, Under the Silver Lake. This is the same director that did It Follows, right? I just want to check now, because I know I've been missing out on... Yeah, it is David Robert Mitchell. Okay, so I am good on that. So, 4 films to take a look at tomorrow. Curse of La Lorna, Breakthrough, Penguins, and Under the Silver Lake. So, by the way, if you didn't see the post I did yesterday, I have somewhat of a schedule to possibly when the last episode of the show is going to air. Because, we just did April 12th today. August 26th, 2026. By the time you watch this, it'll be the 27th, but when I recorded this, it was the 26th. So tomorrow will be April 19th, the 26th on Friday, and so on and so forth. And judging by if the schedule goes as the way I think it will, we will probably have the Last Time About the Movies episode coming up on November 22nd of 2026. At least right now. If everything goes according to plan, I have a couple of episodes I'm going to shoot before I go to Florida in a couple weeks. So hopefully I will get those out there. So even if I miss those out, we're still looking good to possibly get the show done by the time we reach the end of November, at the very least. I don't think we're going to get straight to December, but hopefully by that time, I'll probably have an idea of what my next show is going to be after this. That will be the new weekly show, the new daily show here. But again, we'll see what happens when we get to that part, but just want to give you a heads up on that if you didn't see the post from yesterday. So right now, set your calendars because it's looking like November 22nd, 2026 will be when the last episode of Time About the Movies will air. At least right now, but we'll see what happens. But anyway, with all that said, that's going to wrap it up for this show. So thank you very much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and do me the honors of hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button. Also, don't forget to check out our playlist, and don't forget to check out the previous episode we did. So with all that said, whether it's in the past, the present, or the future, I will see you at the movies. Take care. Bye.